Dion Thompson here with your laugh made me screw up. All right. Hey guys, Dion Thompson here with Saleem N Dion, one of the old co-hosts of Operation Cold Front and one of the new part hosts of Saleem N Dion. So we're out here at the beautiful beach of Alki, and we're here today to ask people what they think about ICE. And no, not cold ICE. I'm talking about immigration and customs enforcement. And I'm expecting some reactions to be somewhere along the lines, well, I think they're concentration camps. So, which is kind of an insult to the Jews that were actually in concentration camps. So, anyways, we're gonna continue on. And if you wanna support us on Patreon, Snapchat, okay, you're gonna have to cut that. If you wanna support us on Patreon, PayPal, Cash App, and Subscribestar, and all the rest, please do so. We'd love to have your donations because we really want to do this full time. And you know, we're not sponsored by anybody yet. Keyword is yet, but we still love donations because we have really big projects coming up that's going to be revealed here pretty soon. So anyways, stay classy. So my first question for you today is, what do you think about ICE?
ICE. Well, that's a vague question. What I think about ICE, in which...
So what ICE do you think I'm talking about?
I think you're talking about ICE, the immigration ICE, right?
Correct.
Okay, so not the ICE rapper,
Ice baby.
No, vanilla ice. No, we're
that was part of the reaction.
Ice, the
But I mean, what do you think about the immigration and customs enforcement?
Well, I mean, it's terrible.
Okay.
It's sad. It's terrible. It's not America that we all immigrate to.
Okay, so I mean, wouldn't you agree that so a lot of people are employed by ICE, right? So wouldn't you just say that the people that are doing the work for ICE are just simply doing their jobs? Like, isn't that American in and of itself?
Well, you know, that's what separates America from the rest of the world. Because immigration law is different than everywhere else. So now they're trying to become like Europe, like, you know, anybody can stop anybody at any time and harass them, ask for documents, ask for whatever. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a US citizen, if you're not, they will give them the power to just stop anybody, random people. And that's gonna turn like to corruption, to racism, to a lot of bullshit is gonna come out.
So I mean, I see what you're saying, but how is it super oppressive, like you've been talking about, to say, well, okay, this person, like for example, there's actually there's been a lot of incidents where an illegal immigrant comes over, crossing the border, and then kills someone, rapes someone, steals, murder, it doesn't matter. And then, I mean, isn't an American to kick them out of the country, even though they cross the border, which when you cross the border, that's literally illegal. That's the thing.
That's a political agenda, you know, that's just some political bullshit agenda that, excuse my language.
No, you're fine.
It's not true, you know.
How so?
It's not true because crimes, rape happens more from like US citizens than immigrants or
Sure, I'm not
foreigners.
arguing that.
Yeah.
That's because U.S. citizens outnumber illegal immigrants.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? Well, we can't generalize all the immigrants that they're like coming here to rape and to steal.
Well, I don't think anybody's generalizing them. I think the issue is they, by definition, broke the law when they came here illegally.
There is a law.
Right.
There is a law, and you know the law should be like, you know, enforced, like reinforced, but not to the extent that torture. Now the law is becoming like a torture. They're like putting people in like cells in areas that it's not even like human.
So let me ask you a question. So you know the whole story about the kids being in cages, correct?
Yeah.
What year was that, or who, under which president was that?
Well, let's go back to the Japanese camp when they took all the Japanese and put them in camps, even the U.S. citizens.
Oh, you mean Japanese internment camps?
Yeah. That's if you want to go back. That's when they put people in.
And sure, and that was absolutely a terrible thing. Yeah, but I'm talking about the children in cages recently. Like, under what president was that being implemented?
Well, you know what? Obama did some of it,
Uh-huh.
and this president just took it to the extreme.
How so exactly? I mean, I really don't
signed
see.
a bill that said families would no longer be separated. It was
Correct.
mostly done under the Obama administration.
It
That's
was
right,
done under
2014.
it was done under Obama
The majority
administration.
actually was done.
Yeah, but it was humane. You didn't hear about like people.
No, the separating families thing goes all the way back to the 80s, and Obama actually deported more illegal immigrants than any president before, and has still, even today, deported more illegal immigrants than any U.S. president.
That's true. I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that. Just the way Obama did it and the way they're doing it now, it's different in my opinion.
Okay.
You know, in my opinion, it's different. So during Obama administration, you didn't hear about like what's going on right now. You know, it was like, okay, so this guy got caught breaking the law. This is what's gonna happen to him. These guys are like going hunting people like rats.
Right.
Everywhere, and
So-
that's not a way.
So I mean, here's my response to that. So let's say, and this is completely hypothetical. I'm not, implying anything. But let's say you break the law,
Yeah.
and I was a cop. I would arrest you and put you in jail.
Yep.
The same exact thing happens from the ICE employees.
Okay.
They do the exact same thing. They
Okay.
break the law crossing the border, or they're here illegally. They throw them in jail. I mean, how else would you do
There
that?
is a legal
Give them
process.
flowers?
There is a legal process to follow that. When you break the law and the policeman get arrested you, it doesn't like do whatever he wants. He takes you to jail. You go to court. You go through process to be either like put in jail or be released because maybe you didn't commit a crime. Maybe you have some rights that you're not aware of. Okay, like you're like jaywalking or whatever crime you commit. Okay, you can pay a fine. You can. There are other ways of dealing with the problem.
Okay, so
Not like-
let me ask you, like, what ways would you deal with the problem other than what ICE does currently?
what ICE does currently, they should first of all take care of what people that they have right now in those cages before they add more people to that.
Okay. So I want to clarify the whole cages thing. So if you actually go into one of these ICE facilities, and there's actually been research done on this, they're literally better than our prison systems. You can look it up yourself. There's YouTube videos all over the place for
Children
it.
should not be in cage.
And I agree. I agree.
Children should not be
I agree.
like separated from their parents. I disagree with Obama back then, and I disagree with this president now.
So, I mean, so with the children's separation, like, let's say you had your kid with you and you got arrested. Well, the reason why they separate the kid from you, I mean, it's kind of obvious reasons.
Okay.
They don't want to put the kid in jail with you.
there is a process. There is a law that they can follow, and they can sign bills that they can do background check on the parents. So if they're like being contributing to the society, they've been good citizens for like whatever, like 5 years, 10 years, never committed crime, nothing. I think they should
But they, by
facilitate.
definition, broke the law when they came here illegally. So let me give you some context.
Yeah.
Here, right? So, Mike, if somebody breaks the law, if I, for instance, or Dion commits domestic violence against my spouse, the cops come and arrest me. Yeah, they separate me from my child. That is the same thing.
Why?
They broke the law illegally. They broke the law when they came here. They, by definition, are illegal immigrants by breaking the law. I'm not saying they should be treated inhumanely, and they're not. There is plenty of proof to back this up. But if you break the law, even as an American citizen, you will be separated from your family. That is just how it works.
I totally agree with you. If you break the law, you should be punished. But we have to go to the source. Why are these people breaking the law? What pushes them to come sacrifice their lives to cross the borders and come to America?
So I'm not arguing that sometimes their situations are really terrible. I mean, it is terrible, some of the situations that they're going through. I do agree with you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can't just hop the border. Like, it's the same thing as hopping my fence.
If you're
right?
running for your
Similar.
life, you can have anything. You can cross the ocean if you're running for your life. And most of these people are running from like gang members. If they stayed there, they would be dead either way. So they didn't have they don't have another alternative, to survive.
Okay, well, let me give you this then. What about the fact that many of these people come from Guatemala or Honduras, but then they come up to Mexico? Mexico has said they would take in refugees. They do not stay in Mexico. They continue to come up to the border because it's for economic viability, right? They're looking for the American dream. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but they're doing it illegally. But if you're running for your life, United Nations current law says that you must stay in the first country that is willing to take you. That is why the United States says we don't have to take them, because Mexico has said they would, but they don't want to stay in Mexico. Why? Because they're looking for economic viability. This is not purely about running for your life. So why wouldn't they stay in Mexico then?
How would you back up your claim?
What do you mean?
Who said
The Mexican
that
government
the
has said
Mexican government said like we're not going to take these immigrants?
No, they said they would take them as for asylum.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
So they are. We should do the same thing. Take them as asylum. And most of these people that they're detained are like, silent. They're like running from war or running from famine or poverty or.
Sure, but literally, like you said, Mexico is the first country that's allowing them that. So why are they coming to the United States?
Well, hey, like he said, looking for opportunity. If you're running from a terrible place and you land in another place that's terrible or worse, and you can get hunted there, they can get killed. If they're running from the gang members and stuff, they can get killed in Mexico, but they will be safe here.
My question for you today is, what do you think about ICE?
What do I think about ICE? ICE as in ice in my drink, or ICE as in removing illegal aliens from America?
Ice, baby, ice.
Wait, what do you think?
I think you're probably talking about ICE removing illegal aliens from America.
Ding!
I actually am for it.
Okay, nice.
I'm actually for it.
This is our first interview. This is awesome.
I don't know if you can't say that.
Well, I'm not the most politically correct person, thankfully, but.
Neither are we.
But no, I agree that that what they're doing is the thing we need to do, and Congress is really screwed up America big time. We've got these guys that have been there 30, 35, 40 years, and they've named 2 streets and a bank or something. I mean,
Yeah.
what is that? And
Well, you know what the opposite word of progress is, right?
yeah, regress.
No, Congress.
Well, there you go, that too. Well, they don't call it Congress for nothing.
Yeah.
But no, I agree with everything that President Trump is doing. I agree with everything that ICE is doing, and they're working within the confines that our laws allow them to work in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there's a lot of issues in America, and illegal immigration, I think, is probably one of the top ones, because it hurts the people at the bottom the most.
Right.
It hurts the poorest, it hurts the people, brings the wages down.
That's right.
Then illegals will come here, bring the wages down, and then of course the whole city tends to be drugged down.
Mm-hmm.
Look at LA, look
All
at
the
San
sanctuary
Francisco.
cities, that's right.
I mean, I just drove down First Avenue yesterday here, and there must have been 40 motorhomes with bums and their little tents, and I mean, it just, and I mean, that may not be related per se, but it's definitely all related under the big umbrella of what I call communism,
Mm-hmm.
which is liberal Democrats, socialist. A socialist is basically a lazy communist.
That's true.
And virtually no country that is an actual socialist country stays that way. They always end up with a communist dictator, i.e. Venezuela. And look where it's at today.
Right, and you look at Mao Zedong's China, you look at Hitler,
Yeah, absolutely.
every single one of them.
Cambodia,
Yeah,
Vietnam.
yeah,
Pol
every
Pot,
single one of them.
They all do the same thing, and
Yep.
and they come in like Bernie. Oh, I've got democratic socialism. There's no such thing as democratic socialism. I'm sorry,
That's right.
because when you have socialism, the people don't really have a say.
Mm-hmm.
Although they're going to say, oh, well, if you elect me, I'm going to give you a say.
Yeah.
And then slowly they're going to pull that away. Then they're going to go, oh, you know what? We need your guns, and we're going to send people with guns to take your guns.
just like every socialist communist country in the world.
Absolutely true.
Yeah.
Absolutely true.
Yeah. So did you hear recently, this happened a couple of weeks ago, that this guy named Wilhelm, is that how you pronounce his name? William. He bombed, or was attempting to bomb with Molotov cocktails. You heard about that?
In Tacoma, bombed the ICE facility down there.
Yeah.
We actually know him from protests.
Yeah.
And I don't know who he is, but yeah, and I love the fact that President Trump is now looking at Antifa
Yes.
as a terrorist org. Finally,
Yeah, I know, right?
finally.
Yeah.
I mean-
I mean, to give you a little bit of backstory, him and I are conservative. We've been attacked
Nice. I am the same way.
way more times than we should have been.
Yes, and I agree with that.
Yeah, like in Portland, here in Seattle. I mean, they're coming out in full force, man. It's kind of scary. Yeah,
I'm too old to do the fights like you guys will go to Portland. I'm too old for that stuff.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm fat, I'm slow, I'm weak. You guys are basically the next generation that's going to save America.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and you've got to stop these communist liberal Democrats any way you can.
Right. And I could not agree more, because him and I were both liberals at some point. And
We all were when we were young and stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
But we grew up and we got intelligent. We
Liberal by default, though. I mean, we grew
Yeah.
up being told that we should be liberal. That's the problem.
Well, see, I'm older than you guys, obviously. Liberalism back when I was young is not liberalism today.
That's right.
I mean, the liberalism back then, you are now a conservative
That's right.
because it's moved so far left and it's gone right off the deep end.
Right. So, I mean, that's a really great point you made, because a lot of the times when we say, well, we're conservative, people assume that we're, anti this and anti that, when in fact, we're actually more classically liberal than anything.
Absolutely the truth.
I mean, equal rights for everybody. I mean, that's just
Absolutely.
common
And
sense.
I agree 100% with that.
Right, and that's just common
Believe in
sense.
Equality of opportunity,
I
not
agree with that.
equity,
Not outcome.
right?
Right.
And it must be based on your abilities.
Yeah.
Not because you're black or brown or Asian or white or anything else.
Right.
If you got the smarts and you're the best one for the job, I don't care if you're a woman, man, whatever sex you think you are. I mean, all this crazy. We don't even want to get into that, but it should all be based on you.
Individualism. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your individual ability.
Said, judge a man on his character and not the color
There
of his
you
skin.
go.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you hear that, all the Democrats are screaming racism all the time. I mean, it's like crying wolf. Everything that a conservative says or does is racist.
Right.
And I think they don't realize that racism is not defined as disagreeing with a Democrat. Racism is defined as hating someone of another color or another creed or whatever it may be.
Right.
And the Democrats have got that mixed up. Anytime you say anything that they don't like, you're a racist
It's unbelievable.
because they don't have anything else to say.
Exactly.
They don't have any facts, and they're completely allergic to facts.
Right.
That's the one thing you'll find. There was a guy online, and I was watching this little argument between him and this other guy about reparations. And I went on there, I said, dude, you're fighting with a guy who wants reparations no matter what, feels he deserves them, even though he never picked one grain of cotton. And you cannot get him to change his mind using facts and logic. Because they don't understand facts and logic. They are allergic to facts and logic. All they care about is, how does it make me feel?
Right.
And feelings, I hate to tell you folks, are fake.
Yeah.
Well, the simplest explanation for things like reparations is, how are you going to hold the people today responsible for what their forefathers may or may not have even done? The Irish and Italian came over here in the 1900s rather than the
Ooh, I'm half
1800s. They
Irish,
weren't
I
the
know.
ones. They weren't the ones holding slaves, but you're going to try and hold them responsible as well.
Simply because they're white. It's
Yeah.
it's absolutely stupid.
And
yeah.
then I saw something recently where they said a black person can't be racist.
Which is absolute bullshit.
If you haven't seen the black Israelites on the street corners.
Yeah.
And I mean, I grew up in South Seattle. I mean, most of my friends were black. I lived in a predominantly black neighborhood when I grew up.
I
And
come from a predominantly black neighborhood.
and my parents still live there. And it's just this racism thing, and it's like Morgan Freeman says, you want racism to end? stop talking about it.
Right.
Because you know what? Without the Democrats out there making their fake race hate crimes, there really isn't many.
And so many of them have been disproved. I mean, we're not just talking about Jussie Smollett. But even in Portland, the Democratic Socialists were actually using hate hoaxes to fundraise. And Andy No, who's a friend of ours, he actually disproved 14 of the 15, and they came after him.
Absolutely.
They beat the shit out of him, and during Pride Month, he's a gay journalist.
Yeah, pretty wild, isn't it?
And the other thing, I just saw something. It was a Muslim, which I don't know what your affiliation is, but a Muslim.
I'm Muslim myself.
Okay,
Yeah.
was beating up on a gay guy.
Yep, the most recent video I just saw.
And they were saying, well, what would the Democrats do?
They won't call it out.
Because you've got a Muslim and you've got a gay person.
Yeah. If there's two oppression cultures that are duking it out,
They just
the
want to run.
Democrats
They'll
just
run
stay out of
away.
it. Yeah.
They'll just run away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, it's almost bizarro world since Donald Trump became president. Everything
I would say he really exposed what's
yeah,
been going on.
he
exposed
exactly.
the communist
He
infiltration.
brought them out in the open. That's exactly what
And
happened.
now we can fight them.
Yeah, exactly. They're not hiding in the corners anymore.
Right.
Now, whatever
Saying
you think of
saying
his-
that they're this or that.
Whatever you think of his crass remarks, and he can be a bit of a bully sometimes, it doesn't matter because God bless Donald Trump because he brought these leftist scumbags out in
There
the
you
open.
go.
That's right.